Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWE News and Rumors. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Brandon Hodge here, and welcome back to another juicy episode of WWE News and Rumors. So WrestleMania is coming up, and they're actually allowing fans. So I guess now that WWE is starting to allow fans back, it's time to start up the ticket discount again. If you guys don't know, I have a partnership with SeatGeek, and ladies and gentlemen, use code Hodge on SeatGeek and save yourselves 20 bucks off your tickets. You don't have to be buying wrestling tickets. You can buy tickets for any event in the entire world on SeatGeek. Just use code Hodge, which is just my last name, and you'll save yourselves 20 freaking bucks. So the first news story we'll be talking about today is going to be about the Fastlane pay-per-view. So the Fastlane pay-per-view is the next WWE pay-per-view. It is actually less than a month away. It's going to be happening on March 21st, so a little over a month away. Now, there was a little bit of confusion when they announced the Fastlane pay-per-view, like during Elimination Chamber, they announced that you can watch it on Peacock. There was a little bit of confusion with the announcement. The way I took the announcement was that you have to use Peacock to watch it if you're in the United States. Now, if you're not in the United States, you could just completely ignore this segment I'm doing here, but basically, Fastlane will be the first pay-per-view that's available on Peacock. You do not have to watch it on Peacock in the United States. But moving on to the next pay-per-view, which is WrestleMania. WrestleMania will not be available on the WWE Network anymore in the United States. You have to use Peacock. But apparently they're just switching like the login information, so like your email and your password and your billing information, all that will be transferred to Peacock. I don't know how that's even legal to like transfer like people's like credit card information from one company to another without their authorization. I don't know how that's legal, but apparently they're doing that. I guess maybe WWE Network will still bill you. Maybe, I don't know how the legal thing about that. But as for the Peacock whole ordeal that everyone doesn't really know what's going on, let me just simplify it for you guys. Fastlane will be available like normal on the WWE Network, or you can watch it on Peacock if you want to try out the new service. But as for WrestleMania, it will not be available on WWE Network in the United States. You have to watch it on the Peacock app, and your login information is the same. Your account is already made, I guess. Alright, the next news story is about Shayna Baszler. So, I'm pretty sure most people know what I'm going at here. It's about Asuka and Shayna Baszler. So Shayna Baszler kicked Asuka in the face last night. Now, why is it breaking news? It's because she actually kicked her in the face last night. That's not supposed to happen. So obviously Shayna did the right thing. As soon as she like messed up and actually kicked her in the face, she like dropped right down and checked on Asuka. Asuka, her thing is she injured? Is she not injured? There's not really no information right now. If anything, I would imagine it's a concussion. But apparently she did lose a tooth. So Asuka lost a tooth because Shayna actually kicked her. Hopefully they can like reattach Asuka's tooth. I'm pretty sure they can. But yeah, that's just crazy. But obviously things aren't always like picture perfect inside the WWE. Mistakes do happen, and that's one mistake that did happen last night. But Shayna did the right thing. As soon as it happened, she dropped down, apologized, and made sure, you know, Asuka was okay. Alright, the next news story. Speaking of like injuries, this one is about John Morrison. So John Morrison did a dive. He was diving on top of Riddle, and Riddle, I don't want to say it was Riddle's fault or whatever. Basically Morrison, instead of just, you know, landing on top of Riddle and having a nice, easy landing, apparently his knee actually hit the mat from flying, and that's a lot of impact on a knee, and apparently he did injure it a little bit. When he did his entrance with The Miz later on that night, it was pretty obvious he was limping. He was trying to hide it, I'm sure. But I noticed it right off. Personally, I missed that match because I wasn't home. So I didn't know what was happening, and then I saw Morrison limping. I'm like, what in the hell happened to Morrison? So that's what happened to Morrison. He landed on Riddle, but he landed weird, and his knee hit the padding outside the ring. So that's what happened to John Morrison. Hopefully he's gonna be okay. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But yeah, that's what happened to Morrison, if you're wondering why he was like limping last night. Alright, the next news story. Now, the next news story is about a name I haven't talked about in a little bit. Return at the Rumble, surprise return. I was very happy to see the guy. The guy's name is Mr. Carlito. So Carlito, there's a big, huge thing being like, can we just get this guy to return to the WWE? He's doing such a great job. I love this guy. Let's just sign him to a contract or whatever. So, you know, he was in the Royal Rumble match. He looked phenomenal. He had a brand new, you know, look to him, like a very more muscular toned or whatever than he had been in the previous WWE run. So he looked great. He was actually on Raw the next night after the Royal Rumble. And then he kind of went poof. And there's a question. Where the hell is Carlito? What is Carlito doing? Was he just on the Raw after? I thought he was on a few weeks of Raws, but maybe that was just the 1 week and I'm just confusing it with something. But basically, Carlito is still a free agent. He is not signed to the WWE. He is not signed to any wrestling company. So Carlito could go to really any wrestling company in the entire world right now. For some reason, WWE didn't sign him right on the spot. I get we're in a pandemic and money's kind of tight, and they're thinking about even releasing people, so I guess they didn't want to sign him. Even though they're like making new signees for NXT, I get their future stars, but Carlito's a name that's already established. I don't know, guys. We will literally just have to wait and see, but they decided not to sign Carlito. Maybe they will in the future, but as of right now, Carlito is a free agent in the professional wrestling business. Alright, the next news story. There is a brand new WWE show launching. It's all launching on the A&E network. So the A&E network do like a lot of different things. They have like this series on there. I guess there's multiple different shows or whatever, where they find like lost treasures or whatever, like very collectible, like memorabilia kind of things. And they've basically decided, I heard this years ago they were doing this, and they're just now putting it into action. The official name of the show is WWE Most Wanted Treasures. And yeah, the graphic was really, really cool. They're going to find like all kinds of old memorabilia, maybe like old WWE rings, or WWF rings, if you want to call it that. Old like Andre the Giant memorabilia and Hulk Hogan memorabilia and all kinds of fun stuff. It's going to be a very interesting show, especially if you're a WWE collector like I am. It's debuting actually in April 18th at 10 p.m. Now, I'm not promoting the show. They're not paying me to do crap. I wish they were, because that would help out the channel a lot, but they're not. But basically, this is a show that I thought was interesting, so I just thought I would share it here on the channel with you guys. Alright, the next news story. The next news story is about a wrestler that has not wrestled in a little while. A wrestler who doesn't wrestle? What kind of crap is that? So basically, he's been doing commentary, obviously, for a little while. His name is Samoa Joe. So Samoa Joe got some kind of injury. I believe it was a concussion, like the Raw after Royal Rumble last year. I was there, and he like, I can't really remember. I'm going off memory here. I believe he like did a dive or something and like hit his head really hard or something. And basically, Joe basically knocked him, I don't want to say himself out, but he got knocked out during the match, and then it was kind of like a scary situation. And then they decided, no, we're going to leave you out of wrestling for a little while. Then now he's like a commentator, you know, commentating the matches, calling the matches on Monday Night Raw. And the question remains, is Samoa Joe returning to the ring? Now this one was actually, the reason this is in the news section, not the rumor section, because this one is coming directly from Samoa Joe. He did an interview, was asked about an in-ring return, a timetable or whatever. Samoa Joe said, timetable? No, there is no timetable. We're just kind of waiting to see what happens, and they're doing their best jobs or whatever. Anyway, personally, reading the thing, I'm like, it sounds like Samoa Joe's pretty happy doing commentary right now, and he doesn't want to get in the ring, especially during the pandemic. There's not really a reason to. So Samoa Joe seems to be pretty happy where he's at right now, and maybe after the pandemic, maybe, you know, who knows, it could be WrestleMania time, SummerSlam time, something like that. We may just see a Samoa Joe in-ring return. But coming directly from Samoa Joe, it doesn't look like there is actually a timetable for return at the current moment. So there you guys have it. That was actually the only confirmed news stories I had to talk to you guys about today. But don't you dare go anywhere, guys, because things are about to get good. Things are about to get, let's say, juicy. And I want to go ahead and advise you guys to go ahead and get your juice boxes out. Get your juice boxes ready, because ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to talk about some juicy rumors. Alright, the first rumor. The first rumor is also kind of like a question, so we'll start this off as a question. Where, I'll go ahead and spice up the question a little bit for you guys. Where in the hell is Drew McIntyre? Like, what in the hell happened to Drew McIntyre? So Drew McIntyre has lost the WWE Championship to The Miz. You heard me right, The Miz is our current WWE Champion if you don't know. He cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase. Who knows when that'll happen? So Drew McIntyre basically got beat up by Bobby Lashley after Drew successfully retained his title inside the chamber. He got beat up by Bobby Lashley, or just Lashley, I guess now. I want to keep calling him Bobby Lashley. Then Miz comes out, of course, Mr. Money in the Bank. He cashes in his briefcase, and he actually wins. He beats Drew McIntyre. That was at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The next night on Monday Night Raw, which is, you know, is Drew McIntyre's show. He should be there. Miz was on, kind of just showing off his title or whatever, but no Drew McIntyre. It's not like they beat up the guy so bad that he was in the hospital. They didn't beat up Drew that bad. The question remains, where that was Drew? So apparently the creative team, the writing team, have decided that they're not going to have Drew McIntyre on TV last night or whatever. For some reason, they just thought, no, we want to build like a Lashley and Miz feud right now, keep Drew McIntyre off of TV. So the question remains, why in the hell did they do that? Well, I mean, they could be putting off this match for a pay-per-view. Maybe we're going to have Drew McIntyre versus Miz for a rematch for the WWE Championship at Fastlane. Maybe that's the current plan. We don't really know. Maybe Lashley's going to win the title, and maybe Drew's not going to go like a match until Mania. We don't really know. We'll talk about that here in a little bit later in the news rumor show. But Drew McIntyre it was decided by the creative team just to keep him off TV and not to do like an immediate like rematch right now. The next rumor is about the Retribution Faction. So if you don't know what Retribution is, Retribution, if I can even say Retribution correctly, is the faction led by Mustafa Ali. It was hyped up fairly big by the WWE in the beginning, and then it kind of been like, they just kind of gave up on like doing crazy stuff with them because nothing really crazy has happened. We haven't really had individual stars from the faction kind of break out and do their own thing like other factions like the Shield or whatever other faction, DX or anything like that have done in the past. The only one that I'm really have my eyeballs on is Mustafa Ali at this point. I don't really see an individuality like other people sticking out to me too much in the Retribution Faction. So it's not really too surprising that WWE has apparently given up on Retribution, and they will actually breaking. I keep wanting to say tag team, but they're going to break up the faction here in a few weeks. Apparently, that is the current rumor here. Retribution is breaking up. I don't know what's happening to each person. I don't know if they're going to stay on the main roster, or if like the majority of them are going back to NXT and Mustafa Ali will just be a singles competitor. Definitely keep him as a heel though, because I love this Mustafa Ali bad guy stuff. He's doing a wonderful job, and he definitely deserves like a singles run. It definitely deserves to be in have some kind of championship on his shoulder while he's being this amazing heel. So maybe they're going to push Mustafa Ali, but as for the actual faction, apparently WWE Creative have decided they're just going to give up on it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, get your tissues out, get your tissues ready, because ladies and gentlemen, this is the final news story. This is the final rumor. This is the final thing I'll be talking about inside of this episode of WWE News and Rumors. So we already talked about this a little bit. We'll go ahead and put the WrestleMania 37 logo up, because this is about the main event of WrestleMania, kind of. Because we don't know what's going to be the main event, or, in the words of Vince McMahon,
every single match at WrestleMania is a main event, because it's WrestleMania.
So yeah, in the words of Vince McMahon, every match at WrestleMania is a main event match, so we don't really know what's going to be, let's say, instead of main event, let's use the term last match of Mania, so I don't know what the last match is going to be. But anyway, let's say the WWE Championship match. So the current WWE Champion is The Miz. But there's a rumor that came out with apparent sources inside the WWE. And guys, we gotta take rumors with a grain of salt, because we never know what's true and what's not true in a rumor. That's why I separate my news and rumors, so you guys know what to believe and what to take with a grain of salt. So basically, this source is saying The Miz will not be the WWE Champion going into WrestleMania. In fact, The Miz will not even be in the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. So that leads us to believe, okay, who's going to be in it? Well, this source has also said that Lashley will be in the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. That's it. That's all they gave us. They didn't tell us who was going to be champion going in. They just said, we have the WWE Championship hanging in the balance, right? There's going to be Lashley versus someone, and one of them would be the champion. So maybe at Fastlane we can kind of guess that McIntyre will beat Miz and be the WWE Champion, and then it'll be Lashley versus McIntyre for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. That's one scenario we can come up with. Another scenario we can come up with is actually next week on Raw, Lashley beats Miz for the WWE Championship, then Lashley is the WWE Champion, and then they kind of build up for that, and then at WrestleMania, we have McIntyre versus Lashley for the WWE Championship. So there's two different scenarios. Tell me in the comments which one you guys think is more plausible. Personally, I think probably McIntyre is going to get the title back at Fastlane. That's just how I personally feel. But guys, this is just a rumor from some, source inside the WWE, so you never really know, and we will just have to wait and see. So there you guys have it. That is actually going to do it for this episode of WWE News and Rumors. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Right now on screen, I'm going to leave a link to 2 previous videos for you guys to check out, as well as a button to subscribe to this channel if you're brand new here. But thank you guys for watching this video. I am Brandon Hodge, and I will see you guys in the next video.